Zinedine Zidane. Let's start with the most iconic retirement in football history. And no, it wasn't planned. June 9th, 2006. The World Cup final was on July 9th, 2006, but Zidane announced his retirement before the tournament, making his exit planned in that sense. World Cup final. Zidane's farewell tour was supposed to end with golden confetti and champagne. Instead, a headbutt heard around the world. Marco Materazzi said something. We still don't know exactly what, but whatever it was, it turned the most elegant player on the planet into a human missile. Red card, game over, career over. But here's the kicker. He still won the golden ball that tournament. Only Zidane could get sent off in his final game and somehow become more legendary because of it. No farewell press conferences, no victory lap, just walked off into the tunnel and straight into football mythology. That's how you exit when you're already a magician. Ronaldo Nazario. Now, let's talk about the most heartbreaking retirement story. Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, had the talent to be the greatest of all time, but football can be cruel, and nobody knows this better than the Brazilian phenomenon. By 2011, watching Ronaldo play was like watching a Ferrari with a broken engine. The mind was still there, the touch was still silk, but those knees, they'd given up years earlier. At Corinthians, he was scoring goals while literally breaking down on the pitch, sweating buckets, struggling to run, but still somehow terrorizing defenders with pure instinct. The scary part? Even with a body that was falling apart, he was still one of the most dangerous strikers in Brazil. While he was still effective at Corinthians, claiming he was one of the most dangerous in the world in 2011 is an exaggeration. His prime was long past. If Ronaldo had today's sports science and injury prevention, Messi and Cristiano might be fighting for third place. Andrea Pirlo. Some players leave with fireworks, others leave like poetry. Andrea Pirlo's final chapter was written in New York, surrounded by skyscrapers and teammates who couldn't pass water, let alone thread a ball like the Italian maestro. At 38, Pirlo was still playing chess while everyone else played checkers. He'd walk across the pitch like he owned it because, honestly, he did. That final season with New York City FC was like watching Michelangelo paint with a broken brush. The masterpiece was still there, just in a different gallery. No sprinting, no sliding tackles, no sweat, just pure footballing intelligence. Defenders would close him down thinking they had him trapped, only to realize the ball had somehow teleported to a teammate 40 yards away. Even retirement couldn't rush Pirlo. Steven Gerrard. Here's a name that still gives Liverpool fans nightmares and dreams in equal measure. Steven Gerrard, captain, leader, legend, and the man who carried an entire city on his shoulders for over a decade. We all remember that slip against Chelsea, 2013-14 season, not his final year at Liverpool. One moment that defined a career? Absolutely not. But one moment that haunted a man? Probably. Gerrard finished his playing days in LA in 2016, scoring goals under the California sun, but you could tell his heart never left Anfield. The man won everything except the Premier League title with his boyhood club. Sometimes football writes the cruelest stories for its greatest characters. David Beckham. May 18, 2013. Paris Saint-Germain vs Lorient. 20 minutes in, the entire stadium rises to their feet. Teammates are crying. Opponents are clapping. David Beckham is walking off a football pitch for the very last time. And somehow, even his tears look perfect for the cameras. Beckham didn't just retire from football. He graduated from being a player to becoming a global phenomenon. 4 countries, England, Spain, USA, France, 5 leagues, Premier League, La Liga, MLS, League One, and Serie A via loan to AC Milan, countless magazine covers, and a right foot that could bend reality. His retirement wasn't the end of a career, it was the beginning of an empire. Arjen Robben. Some players retire once. Arjen Robben retired twice because apparently his left foot had unfinished business. After hanging up his boots in 2019, Robben got bored of normal life and decided to torture defenders for one more season. Back to FC Groningen, his hometown club, at age 36. Same old Robben. Cut inside, shoot, score, pull a hamstring, repeat. Even when everyone in the stadium knew exactly what he was going to do, they still couldn't stop him. That's the mark of true genius. Being predictable and unstoppable at the same time. Andrés Iniesta. If football had a poet laureate, it would be Andrés Iniesta. His retirement announcement in 2023 was like watching the end of an era not just for Barcelona, but for pure, beautiful football. After leaving Barca in 2018, grown men cried that day. Iniesta spent 5 years in Japan, Vissel Kobe, and the UAE, Emirates Club, still embarrassing players half his age with touches that seemed to defy physics. At 39, he was playing football like he was conducting an orchestra, every pass perfectly timed, every movement flowing like music. When he finally called it quits, it felt like the game lost a piece of its soul. Some players retire, others transcend into legend. Iniesta did both simultaneously. Eden Hazard. This one hurt. Eden Hazard went from being Chelsea's magical wizard to Real Madrid's most expensive benchwarmer faster than you could say Galactico. After lighting up the Premier League for 7 seasons, Hazard's Madrid move was supposed to be his coronation. Instead, it became a medical documentary. Over 20 injuries across 4 seasons, surgery after surgery, until the spark that made him special just disappeared. Retiring at 32. When players like Benzema, won Ballon d'Or at 34, and Modric, won at 33, were still reaching peaks. Sometimes football breaks your heart in ways you never see coming. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And then there's Zlatan. Because of course, Zlatan gets his own category. At 41, he was still scoring goals, still collecting yellow cards for arguing with referees, and still giving post-match interviews that sounded like philosophical manifestos. "I came like a king, I left like a legend," he said. And you know what? Nobody argued. When you've scored goals in 7 different countries, Sweden, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, France, England, USA, collected trophies like Pokemon cards, and created more memorable quotes than most politicians, you've earned the right to call yourself a god. Gianluigi Buffon. Finally, we have to talk about Gianluigi Buffon, the man who refused to age. At 45, he was still making saves that defied both physics and common sense. Over 150 career appearances, a World Cup winner, and a voice that could still terrify defenders from 18 yards away. Buffon didn't retire. He simply decided the goal had been guarded long enough. After 28 professional seasons, he walked away knowing he'd seen and saved everything football could throw at him.